All right, well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Free. I'm Ryan. I'm the pastor and executive director here. Carrie's not here tonight. Carrie's off in another land. Is it Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh. Yeah, she's off in Pittsburgh, but she'll be back tomorrow, Monday. Anyway, good to be with you all tonight. Welcome to our online people. Glad you're a part of this community. Glad you're tuning in tonight, or maybe different times throughout the week. We're glad you're here. To remind you all, this is a community for addicts, loved ones of addicts, and spiritual refugees. And what we do here is break the silence of addiction while creating space for healing, recovery, and spiritual connection. And there's always one thing we don't do in this community. If you're online, you can shout it out as well. But here in-house, you can shout it out. All four words at the count of three. 1, 2, 3. We don't do shame in this community. But there are some other things happening in the community that you might want to know about. First up, I want to let you know that the Grounded Warrior mini retreat, this is led by Maggie Madrano. It is happening. Oh, let me say this first. See, tech team keeps me on my game. Thank you, tech team. If you're new with us, if it's your first time here, we do have welcome bags for you. You can get one on your way out. In this welcome bag, you'll find fresh, roasted wagon coffee, roasted right here in-house by the great Tammy Canada. My wife, she's not here tonight, but she's Breck, my 9-year-old boy. He has his first basketball game tonight. So she's with him. I've got 2 with me. She's got 2 with her, and we're making it work. But anyway, her and the ladies at Wagon Coffee, they roast this coffee, and it's put into that bag, and you'll have the freshest coffee you've ever had. And there's some other swag in this bag. There's a Connect card if you want to connect with us, and you can sign up for the newsletter. We send out a weekly newsletter so you can stay in the loop. But if that's you, if it's your first time here, get a welcome bag. And then we have, not tomorrow, but next Sunday, is the Grounded Warrior mini retreat. It's a half day. Again, this is put on by Maggie Madrano. She has all kinds of practitioners coming in for this. They use the whole space, yoga, sound bath, Reiki. I mean, you can read the whole list, but you do got to sign up. We've mentioned it last couple weeks. Last day to sign up is tomorrow, so sign up there. You can find this on our social media pages. It's been in the newsletter. If you're not on a newsletter, that's a good reason to be on it. But it's going to be a good time. That's next Sunday. So Saturday, a week from tonight, next Saturday, is it the 18th? No, 20th. Next Saturday is the 20th, so we'll still do our thing here, but we've let y'all know Free Recovery Community Chicago is officially launching on September 20th. It's their first date. We went out for their pre-launch a couple of weeks ago. They've got a great community. They're new. They're doing free in Chicago. So we thought an easy way to be in solidarity with them is to stuff our face with Chicago-style hot dogs. Mark Wonder, who's part of this community, he's also with Billy's Gourmet Hot Dogs. He approached me a couple months ago and said, hey, I would like to just give back to this community. Can I supply all the hot dogs? So this is donated by Mark and his team at Billy's. We're really grateful for that. He's going to have Chicago-style hot dogs, lots of them, and veggie dogs and bags of chips. This is no cost to you all. It'll be in between the 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock service. There'll be all kinds of hot dogs set up out here for you. So bring the kids, bring the family, and get your hot dogs on. We're going to celebrate together and stand in solidarity with Chicago, Free Recovery Community Chicago. It's going to be all kinds of fun. And finally, we have, this is a good one. So we're starting a 2-week series tonight, a short little 2-week series. It's called White Knuckles. Then after that, we've got another short little 2-week series. It's going to be on Better Questions, Deeper Faith. Because you do know, questions drive the whole thing. Like, it's not just about arriving to answers. It's like, how do we ask better questions? Doesn't the faith journey encourage better questions? So here's what we're going to do. If you have your deepest questions about God and spirituality and recovery and whatever else it is, and you just thought, man, I've never been able to ask this question, this is your opportunity. Send your questions to Ben, our community operations manager here. It's Ben at freerecoverycommunity.com. Carrie and I will not see these questions, by the way. You can ask any question you want. And the goal is, Carrie and I on October 4th, that Saturday, we are not going to just answer your questions because that would be far too boring. And who could really do that anyway? But we do want to show a process of engaging questions and why that is so important. So Carrie and I will take those questions. We'll sit up here and engage those questions. But email your questions to Ben, and there is nothing off limits. How's that? It's going to be all sorts of fun. So that'll be, get them in the next couple of weeks. That'll be on October 4th when we actually do it that night. All right, y'all, the way we start here at Free on a Saturday night is with celebrations. We start with the good. We lift up the good. Maybe you're celebrating a sobriety anniversary or a birthday or whatever the new thing is in your life or your recovery. We celebrate it all here. New kids, new jobs, new homes, whatever it is. Nothing too big or too small. And it is, I try to say this most weeks, it's a very profound part of our time together to celebrate together, to lift each other up, cheer for each other. God joins with us in these celebrations. So we take 3 minutes. Colin will have a mic on this side. Cody will have one on this side. If you're online, drop your celebrations in the Facebook comments or YouTube comments, whichever platform you're joining us from. And though Carrie is in Pittsburgh tonight, she's also running the comments. She's engaging with all of you from Pittsburgh. Thank you for that, Carrie. All right, y'all get 3 minutes. This time is yours. Yes. Oh, yes. If you're in your first 30 days of anything, any celebration, you get a free coin. And man, these are really cool. It says, "We don't do shame-free." Someone in our community made these for us. And then on the back is this blooming tree with Psalm 34:18 on it. Anyway, that's for you if you're in your first 30 days of celebrating anything.
Good evening, my name is Tara, and I was not here last week to celebrate, but I just celebrated 34 years of recovery.
All right, that's a good start, Tara.
Not my first 30 days, so no coin, but...
You know, you're just a little late for the coin. Few days. Happy 34.
Hi, I'm Laura. I'm celebrating 90 days of sobriety.
All right, happy 90 days, Laura. Glad you're here.
Hi, I'm Tiffany. I'm 35 days sober today.
35 days, Tiffany, way to go.
Hi, I'm Nathan, and I have 13 days.
All right, way to go, dude. 13 days. Give him a coin.
I'll take a second one, I guess. So.
My name's Elizabeth. I have several things I'm grateful for.
Uh-oh, buckle up.
Okay, so I was at a baby shower today because my daughter I'm already a grandma, but this is baby number 2, and it's a girl, and so I got to celebrate a baby shower. She's due in December. Secondly, I love my job. I get to drive people here, and it's just amazing. I'm grateful for my own recovery. And then third, I'm getting married on Wednesday.
All right, happy day for you. Congratulations, Elizabeth, on all of it. Man, who's going to top that?
Yeah, this is Sai. I am celebrating 1,191 days, which 3 days ago, that was 3 years and 3 months. So.
All right, man. Glad you're here, Sai. Happy 3 years and 3 months. Anyone else?
I'm Colin, just celebrating noticing my conscious contact with God sitting at Wash Park, noticing the rainbows over the lake.
Yeah, someone was just sending me pictures of that. We'll celebrate that beauty in the world, man. Creation. Okay, thank you, Colin and Cody. Jerome, you want to join me up here, dude? Cody, can you give your mic to Jerome? Thank you, Colin. Y'all are the best mic passers we've ever had. Thank you for that.
You said that last week for me.
I did?
No.
I meant it last week. I mean it this week. All right, shall we join our online people?
We shall.
All right, Jerome, you want the first one?
Yeah. Oh, there's Mark.
There's Mark,
Yep.
right there. That hot dog Mark.
That's right. My celebration is I celebrated 23 months yesterday. So grateful for Free Recovery Community.
Yeah, way to go, Mark. We'll celebrate that,
Great job, Mark.
Brittany says, my first time here, new to the community, day 20. My birthday is next Thursday. Hey, Brittany, we're celebrating with you and glad you're here. Day 20.
Mike Anderson, celebrating my granddaughter's 13th birthday tomorrow. An important day in my recovery. It's the day I realized the insanity had to stop.
Yeah,
Great job,
we'll
Mark.
celebrate that, Mike.
Excuse me.
Tyler says, missed last week, but celebrated 18 months on the 3rd of September. Way to go, Tyler. Happy 18 months, brother. Glad you're here. Thank you, Jerome. Yeah, you can just throw that on the couch. All right, y'all. Yeah, as I stated just a moment ago, we're starting a new, just a mini-series tonight. It's called White Knuckles, because you do know fall is coming, and man, it's a good time to think about what are some of the things we need to open up and let go of. What are some of the things we need to release? So here's a video. Well, let's talk about grind versus grit and the problem of perfection. Do you know I've been doing the treadmill lately at the gym, and it's not because I like doing the treadmill. I was just kind of forced into it, and here's why. Because at the gym where I work out, it's the rec center. Well, they're doing renovations, and they closed off the top. Where the track is. And my routine was I would go to the gym, I'd get a workout in, and then I would go do the track. And it was just circle after circle until my mind is cleared, which is a beautiful way for me to clear my mind. But the track has been closed much of the summer, so I got on the treadmill. And the treadmill, a very interesting thing. When we're talking about grind versus grit, the treadmill is very interesting because you can get on the treadmill and you can hit that up arrow button and you can go faster, 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 and you can run really fast. In fact, you can get a lot of sweat dripping off your body. And then you step off of the treadmill after running for 20 minutes, and you can open up your exercise app like I do, and it tells me that I've stayed in the exact same place. In fact, it tells me that, Ryan, you have run exactly 0.0 miles. But you can really grind it out on the treadmill. But 14ers are a different thing, aren't they? Anyone here climbed a 14er? Yeah. Okay, and if you're watching online right now and you're saying, wait, what is a 14er? Okay, they're 14,000-foot mountain peaks. We have 53 of them in Colorado, and you can climb to the top of these things. So 4 weeks ago, me and my 9-year-old boy, Breck, we climbed and made it to the top of Mount Bierstadt. And this was actually the second time we did it. The first time we did it was 4 years ago. Breck was 5 years old. I didn't know much about 14ers, and well, I'll be honest with you, we barely made it to the top and back down to our vehicle. But this time was different. He was way more prepared, and he begged to climb it again. Now, here's what I can tell you about 14ers. 14ers, well, you may not be going really fast because it's a slow, steady climb. And you might not even sweat a lot, but you are taking a lot of breaks. You're drinking a lot of water, a lot of electrolytes. You have a lot of snacks with you, especially if you have a kid with you. And here's the thing about 14ers. You do not grind your way through. You grit your way up. And you're headed somewhere. You're headed towards a goal. And y'all, I mention that to you because contrary to what we hear in 21st century American pop culture, your life is not a grind. And I know we hear it all the time, especially in your 20s and 30s. And you might hear it in your 40s and 50s too. We hear it all the time. Man, if you really want to get ahead, if you want to get ahead of the game, if you want to make it to the top, well, you just got to grind your way through and never sleep and pull the 80-hour work week. And how many times and how many circles is it bragged about and it's lifted up and it's celebrated? You got to work more, do more. You're always on, you're always available, and we brag about who got into the office first and who's the last to leave and who works the most hours and who sleeps the least amount of hours. And my brothers and sisters, your life, your work, your heart, you weren't created for a grind. Give up the grind. Oh, and I know it's hard to give up. It's hard to give up the grind because the grind makes me feel important. I mean, the grind, it gives me value. If I can go around and tell you, well, you know what I do? I just get up every day and rise and grind and rise and grind and rise and grind. And God help me if I see that hashtag one more time, rise and grind. Do you know when we first started Free Recovery Community? When we were in our first year, when Tammy, my wife, and I were just starting this thing, man, we were doing a lot because there was always stuff that had to get done. And if you've ever started anything new, you know what I'm talking about. There's always something to do and more to do. And that same year, our first year starting, I'll never forget, I was meeting with a buddy of mine. And this buddy of mine, he's one of those guys that he's like always dropping these wisdom bombs, full of wisdom. And on this day, I didn't know it at the time, but looking back, he was actually giving me a great warning. And we're sitting together over coffee, and he says, Ryan, man, I've been watching you and Tammy, and man, I've been watching Free, and it's so cool. It's so cool to see this thing grow, and it's really needed in our community. And he says, I just want to share with you something. He says, I've been around a lot of church planners, and I've been around a lot of entrepreneurs starting new things. And Ryan, I just want to tell you, you can grind it out, grind your way through. And I'm thinking to myself like, oh yeah, man, that's what we're doing. We're grinding, always something to do. He says, you can do that, but at whose expense? Whose expense? What do you mean? He said, well, when you get down the road a little bit and you look back, which bodies will be lying in the wake? Your wife? Your kids? Your people? Your recovery? Your faith? And see, he didn't know it at the time because I didn't let anyone know. I was really battling this internal fear. And this fear of mine, well, it caused me to try to want to control the show just a little bit. And I know y'all know nothing about that. I wanted to control things a little bit. I wanted to let things come off just a little bit perfect. I wanted to impress you because my deep internal fear was, and I was serving as a full-time pastor at another church at the time, starting Free on the side, and my fear was, what if someone up at the top comes to me and says, Ryan, you can't do both. You can't do this. What if people see from the outside, what if they see that we're actually tired? What if they see that some things over here might be falling apart and some things over here might not be going well? And what if someone tells me no? And I don't like to be told no. I like to do what I want to do. Again, I know none of you can relate with that. And do you know I had to learn the difference between grind and grit. Grit is good, but grind exhausts. And see, grind is that relentless striving. Do we have the slide? There it is. The relentless striving. It drains you. It leaves you exhausted. And it often costs you your presence to the things that matter most. And it always has someone to impress. But grit, on the other hand, grit is different. Grit is about that resilient trust. It's showing up with consistency without needing to prove yourself through perfection. It has no one to impress. Do you know when I got sober and I got into recovery? Man, I would have told you that recovery, it's about a grind. You just got to white knuckle your way through. It's the grind. In fact, in my first week in sobriety, I did some thinking. I remember the first week, and I looked up at these 12 steps that were hanging from the wall. And that same week, I met with my sponsor, and I'm sitting across from him at his kitchen table, and I said, listen, I've been doing some thinking, and here's how we can do this. Trying to control the show a little bit, maybe. Here's how we can do this. There's 12 steps. I can do one step a week. In my calculations, that's 12 weeks. And my thinking was, if I can get through these steps really, really fast, if I can just go fast, then my recovery would be perfect. Then I could move on, and then people might actually like me. And see, I had to come to realize that my recovery never required a grind, but it did demand and still does demand a good deal of grit. See, my recovery, it tells me things like progress, not perfection. It tells me that I have to stay involved with the process even when it's hard, even when I don't understand it, even when I don't have answers. It tells me things like easy does it. And yes, Ryan, you will encounter difficult circumstances along the way. And then there was my whole approach to the God stuff, the faith stuff. And I would have told you that God appreciates the grind. Because since the time I was a little boy, what religion told me was you got to do more. There was another God that told me to do more. I'm very good at it. And if I can just do more, then maybe God would be happy with me. If I could do more religious stuff, and if I could do religious stuff perfectly, then maybe God would approve of me and maybe even save me. And see, I had to come to realize that my God never invited me into a grind. But I can tell you the spiritual path, it does take some real grit. In the spiritual path, it tells me things like relax and take it easy. It gives me things like a God who says, I am always with you no matter where you are. And you do, by the way, have to stay engaged in the process, even with all your questions and all your doubts and all your longings and all your not understanding how to make sense of the world. And speaking of perfection, can we just talk for a moment about how perfect and the spiritual life, they never partner well together? Like, I love how the Apostle Paul puts it. And going back all the way to the first century when he's writing a letter to his friends in this city called Galatia. You can find this letter in the New Testament. It's called Galatians. And he's writing this letter to the Galatians because the Galatian people are a lot like you and me. They were so caught up in the grind. I mean, they were just grinding it out. More work, more to impress. I will do more, and then maybe this God will be happy with me. If I can impress God, we can earn God's favor. And Paul says, are you freaking serious? He writes him this letter. This is the line he drops. Check it out. Let me put this question to you. How did your new life begin? That's a very good question. How did your new life begin? Was it by working your heads off to please God? Or was it by responding to God's message to you? Did you go through this whole painful learning process for nothing? It is not yet a total loss, but it certainly will be if you keep this up. What's he saying to them? He's giving them a great warning. What is Paul doing here? He is highlighting the problem of perfect because, see, at its core, perfectionism, it tells us if I can perform for you, if I can please you, if I can come across as perfect, if I can grind hard enough, then I'll get your approval. You'll like me. And don't we all want to be liked? And it is a great question. How did your new life begin? Think about your story. I don't know about you, but I was already exhausted enough. I had done enough digging. The drink was taking everything from me. I was already trying to control everything and everyone around me. Now think about your story, especially for those of you in recovery. Did you work your way there? I mean, did you do something so great to impress your way there or earn your way there? Or was it a God who did for you what you could not do for yourself? I mean, think about your story. I mean, did new life happen for us when we went from this, the closed fist and the white knuckles, to this? Open hands. I give up. I don't have the answers anymore. My way isn't working. You see, you don't have to grind. You don't have to be perfect. And maybe some of y'all have been creating this distance between you and God and you and the spiritual because you're just trying so hard and you're white-knuckling it and clenched fist and you're trying so hard to be perfect and your thinking tells you, well, once I get it perfect, then I can be in some sort of relationship with God and the spiritual, but not before it's perfect. And sometimes I think God might be saying in those moments, man, don't you get it? Look at your life. Look at everything I've already done. Don't you know I just want to be with you? But see, then the problem is you have pesky little Jesus. That first century Jewish rabbi who just turned everything upside down everywhere he went. Everything he said, it turned it upside down. Like he seems to like say the exact opposite of what we're talking about here. Like you don't need to be perfect. Perfectionism is not required. It'll actually hurt you. And then Jesus has to drop this line in Matthew's Gospel chapter 5. Jesus says, be perfect, therefore, as your heavenly Father is perfect. And you're like, what? Come on, Jesus, that is not a good message. And I would tell you, you have to remember, we are dealing with a 2,000-year-old text. I mean, seriously, written 2,000 years ago. That means interpretation is a very tricky thing. And you say, how so? Well, y'all think about it. Here's why it's tricky. In 2,000 years from now, when historians are reading through your text messages, maybe not your text messages, but other people's text messages, they are going to have to do the very difficult work of telling the real difference between a butt dial and a booty call. Oh, they seem like the same thing, don't they? If you don't have culture and context, you say, well, those are the same things. I mean, butt, booty, dial, call, same thing. And yet, being in this culture and context, those are two very different things with two vastly different outcomes. Is it true? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just make it awkward and ask your neighbor. They'll tell you all about it. Two very different things. When we are reading a 2,000-year-old text, we have to ask some hard questions. We have to actually do some investigation. We have to say, well, wait a minute, what was happening in this context? If you were to read Matthew chapter 5, 6, and 7, you would see this is what's called the Sermon on the Mount. It was one of Jesus' most famous ever sermons. In fact, in chapter 5, what's happening? Specifically in this part where he drops that line, be perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect, Jesus is talking all about love. How do you love other people? And then Jesus, you know how he does. He always has to get deeper with it and go to the next level. He starts talking about enemy love. How do we love our enemies, those who are different from you? They have different worldviews than you, different political views, different religious views. How do we love those people? Don't you hate Jesus for doing that? Oh my God, did he say that out loud? Yeah. Here's another interesting thing. That word perfect, because you do know the New Testament, it's written in Greek. So we have to look at the Greek language. That word perfect in the Greek is this word teleos. Say that word with me, teleos. Teleos translates to be made perfect. Fascinating, isn't it? I mean, is Jesus actually saying, move towards the depths of love because that is the place where you are made complete? I mean, it's almost like Jesus and Paul, they're doing the same thing just in different ways. It's like he's saying, don't you remember your story? Don't you remember when you were down at the bottom? When you had nothing left? When you were clenched fists and white-knuckling it? Don't you remember how deeply loved you were? How deeply loved you still are? And now you get to do the hard work of figuring out how to go out there and love other people. And as you do so, you better not forget who you are. You know, the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, it tells me that the spiritual life is not a theory. We must live it. Man, sometimes I wish it was a theory because sometimes it can be really difficult. not a grind, but it takes a lot of grit. And listen, y'all, I know for many of you here tonight, many of you watching online, it has been a very heavy week. It's been a heaviness that you don't even know how to describe it. Do you know on Wednesdays I work from home. I catch up on emails and phone calls, and primarily I sit with my iPad, and it's a quiet day for me. I get into my quiet space and I start working on my notes for the Saturday sermon. And so on Wednesday, I'm sitting in my living room, quiet, no kids around, windows open, praying and meditating, reading. And then I get a text message that says, there's another school shooting in our home state, right here, again, just up the street at Evergreen. And then right after that, my wife, Tammy, she gets home. She walks through the front door, and I said to her, I said, well, you've probably heard there was a shooting. And she said, which one? And you can sense the heaviness even in that question. Where did it come from? So what do you mean which one? At Evergreen High School, just up the road here. She said, well, yeah, I just heard about the political activist Charlie Kirk, and he was at a rally in Utah, and he was gunned down there. And the number of conversations I've had with people, some of you who are part of this community, others who aren't, some people I don't even know, the number of conversations I've had in person or text message or DMs. I mean, people, all of us trying to struggle to make sense of violence and hate and division, and where is God in all this? And you know, as a faith leader, it is at times appropriate to make a public statement of faith. And I did that on Wednesday evening on social media. Yeah. And you know what creeps up? Perfection. Oh, I battled perfection Wednesday night. Because see, perfection loves to tell me, Ryan, if you can get the perfect words, I mean, all you got to do is just get the perfect words and the perfect perspective and put that out there. People are going to like you. People are going to approve of you, and it's going to bring people together, and we can all sing Kumbaya together, and it's going to be great. As some of you saw this post, and you saw the same comments I did. And I read through the comments, and perfectionism creeps up and tells me, Ryan, you know what you need to do in your response? You need the perfect words. You need the perfect perspective. And if you can just do that, then people are going to like you. They're going to agree with you, and we can all come together. And that didn't happen. Yeah, and see, what I've come to realize is, once again, in this mess, there is no perfect. But I do know I cannot go back to that place of hate. I know I can't go back to the place of hate. I know how to do it. I've been well trained in it. I've been well trained in identifying the enemy and labeling who's in and who's out, and hating everyone who's not like me and labeling them as wrong and stupid and not part of us. And man, that shit will get me drunk again. And I want my recovery. And see, I know the struggle for so many of us. You know, someone asked me Wednesday night, they said, well, of course you're going to make a statement about the school shooting too, aren't you? It's a very good question. It's a fair question. Oh, Ryan, why didn't you? Why don't you? And if I can just speak honestly with you, because my heart is unsettled. Because do you know, 2 hours before that question was posed to me, we're sitting in the living room as a family with our kids talking about another school shooting that they just heard about from their friends. And as we're talking as a family, our 12-year-old daughter, Shiloh, she goes on to tell us everything she would do if a shooter walks into her school, and everything she would do not to get shot. And you can sense the heaviness. And then that following morning, that same 12-year-old little girl walks to her middle school. And then the phone rings, and we get a call, and it's Shiloh. And she's panicking, she's frantic, and she's shaking. You can literally hear it in her voice. And she says, come pick me up, come pick me up, come pick me up. There's all kinds of police officers here, and my friends are leaving, and they say there's an active threat. And it turns out they had the wrong middle school. And you can still even hear the heaviness in that. And the spiritual life, we're told, is not a theory that we have to live it. And I get it, y'all. It's like, God, you want me to keep showing up? You want me to keep showing up, and I have to wrestle with this stuff with my family and with our kids and with community. We have to keep doing that. And so many times, God, I don't have the perfect words. I don't even have the perfect posture. I don't even know what to say. And we have to keep showing up and wrestling with this. And do you know sometimes the temptation is, no, God, here's what I want you to do. Bring me back to that place of religious dogma. Bring me back to that place of religious fundamentalism, because it was so easy back then. It's the culture I was raised in, and all the answers are black and white, and you know who to hate and who not to hate, and your enemies are given to you. It's all made so clear. You bring me back to that place. I don't want to struggle and wrestle. And I think in those moments, God's saying, no. You are being made complete. You get to go out there and figure out how to love each other, even your enemies. And that takes some real grit, doesn't it? And remember, grit has a goal, because we're headed somewhere. And you say, wait a minute, I thought the spiritual life, what was the goal? I thought we were just on a path together and it's ongoing. And I would tell you, maybe the goal is very simple: to love one another, to see the divine image even in them. The ones who think differently than you, talk differently, look differently, they vote differently. You cannot understand them for the life of you. You can't understand why they see things this way, and they're just wrong. I mean, the hardest spiritual work we'll ever do is, are you able to see even them as a child of God? Yeah. The hardest work we'll do. And I think what it means is, as a community, we must keep seeking God together. And I know there will be times where it feels so messy and so uncomfortable. I mean, it just brings to the surface all the imperfections. And I would tell y'all from my experience, I have never found God in violence or hate, or the verbally tearing down each other, the names we call. I've never found God in that place. But I keep finding God in that place of healing, the place of listening to each other, the place of seeking to understand. And I think what it means is, we get to show up with all our grit, all our imperfection, and with a healthy dose of community. God, help us. God, rescue us from our desire of imperfection. God, show us a better path. We don't have the answers. So I just want to invite you to close your eyes for just a moment. You know, on Thursday when we picked up Shiloh, we came here to Free, and she didn't, of course, go back to school that day. And Shiloh hung out with my wife, Tammy, in the wagon coffee room in the back. And I had meetings that day, and in and out of meetings. And in between one of those meetings, I went back to the wagon coffee room just to check in. And Tammy was telling Shiloh to let her soul be still. Invite God in and find some stillness in your soul. Let your soul be quiet. And she was pretty shaken. And then Tammy turned on this song. It's called Be Still My Soul. And we're going to play this song now. And I invite you into a moment quiet. For anyone who's feeling like things are really heavy, for anyone who's feeling the heaviness of anxiety, for anyone who is disillusioned or disappointed, it's okay, you're not alone. Here's Be Still My Soul. Now you can call mom and tell her you went to church tonight. Is it true? Yeah, a cappella. All right, y'all, if you're new with us, you should know that every Saturday night we have a guest storyteller in the house to join us in the living room to share with us some of their experience, strength, and hope around the topic at hand. And I can't wait for y'all to meet my dear friend Russ, who's our guest storyteller tonight. When I was thinking through the theme and this idea of releasing perfection, I called Russ. And Russ and I, we kind of got this new budding friendship going. We get together. We sit in my office, and man, he asks some of the deepest and best spiritual questions. And a lot of times my response is, I don't know. But he's asking these great questions. I even thought about saving him for the question series. But here we are in imperfection. And when I called Russ and I told him the topic for tonight, and I said, what do you think about? He said, I knew you were going to ask me. Help me welcome my friend Russ Carlson into the living room. Come on up here, big dude. Did you see the picture? Don't bother dressing up for that photo, Russ. He came straight from the gym. Is your mic on? Let me see. Did I turn it on for you? There you go.
Hi.
All right, so let me start with this. First, Russ told me this week while we were meeting, actually I think it was a text I got from you. He said he might throw up on the stage because he was battling some nervousness. And I said, dude, don't worry, that wouldn't be awkward at all. You would just be the first one ever to throw up here. So if you do that, it's totally, we don't do shame, you know? There's a bucket right there. Here's the other thing Russ told me. I thought this was really cool. Because you do know the whole thing we're doing, this is all about authenticity. How do we show up as our authentic selves in the world? It can be difficult sometimes. And as we were meeting and talking about tonight, he said, Ryan, you know what my prayer is? You know what I want you to pray for me? That Russ shows up as his authentic self. Yeah, because sometimes we want to impress. Sometimes we get stressed out about saying the perfect things. And, dude, how can they be really wowed by you? Sometimes we battle that stuff.
I don't know. I sat this whole time thinking about that. Like, how am I going to impress these guys?
Yeah.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
It's
yeah,
ridiculous.
we do it, man. Okay, so let's start with this. Let's just talk a little bit of backstory here. You, at 13, you started drinking. Then you moved into the rave drugs, the pain pills, IV heroin use. Then the drug meth was introduced into your life, and meth took you to this new land of horrible. And just tell us, just briefly, what it looked like for you. Where did addiction take you, and what did it take from you?
It took me to every level of hell that I could imagine. Eventually, to the end, it was like my family systematically, one by one, was leaving my life. But everything, you know, I blew an entire retirement and, very short time. And, yeah.
So nothing
took my soul, man.
Yeah. And I want you to talk about just a little bit of how you got clean and sober. And you grew up Jehovah's Witness.
You did.
Which means, so like for many of us in recovery, we come to find a God of our own understanding, a spiritual path. But Russ grew up JW, and maybe you want to say just a sentence or two about what Jehovah's Witness is. But then what that caused you to do was at age 16, you left it, and you became like a very outspoken atheist, even arguing with people about why there's not a God.
Yeah, and I truly believed I was right. Yeah, it's just very dogmatic. It's very fear-based, and it's very black and white. This is it. This is what you got to do to get, into the afterlife. They don't necessarily believe in heaven, but
what do they believe?
Well, they believe a certain amount of people go to heaven. Everybody else gets to inherit the earth on paradise after the end of the world. But only Jehovah's Witnesses, nobody else. Yeah. So,
isn't it interesting? Anytime there's an in and an out, we're always on the in. The ones speaking it.
They were the ones that had it.
It's
all
never like, I wonder if
out.
I'm not going to be on the inside. Anyway, side note, rant. Go on.
that's it. So it just led me. It was never a God like that I got taught that I really wanted a part of, and it didn't make much sense to me. And it just kind of convinced me that there wasn't. That was all I knew. And yeah, I would have contentious debates with people. I thought people that believed in God were fools. I thought they were foolish and very misguided. And then it just progressively, my addiction got worse and worse. And yeah,
So
for many years.
you had a thing happen in your life. You call this thing a spiritual awakening, and it happened actually right before you got clean and sober.
It did.
Yeah.
Very unexplainable. Lot of things that people would say were probably just coincidence that I know weren't. That's what had to happen for me to even give it a shot.
Yeah.
Because I was very staunch in my beliefs. But like little miracles, little signs from the universe, and they were very powerful, very profound. And I didn't ask for it; it just kind of came.
Yeah. People still ask me to this day, they'll say, "Oh, Ryan, do you think this was a miracle, or do you think this was God?" And it's like, who cares what we call it? Why does it matter what I think, first of all, anyway? And who cares what we call it? The question I always ask back is, what do you do with that? How does it shape you? And it actually did shape you. What did it shape you towards, or what did this thing say to you?
It did. There was a lot of messages. Some of them were subtle, some of them were more profound. The number one prevailing one was like, if you do not get clean, you are going to die, and it was 100% happening. I was.
You were dying.
Oh yeah, I was 1 foot in the grave, for sure.
Okay, so you get clean and sober, went to rehab, you get out.
Yeah.
You're now in. He's 4 years clean and sober now, but in early recovery, you kind of came back to a religious path. I don't know if I'd call it a spiritual path. I'll let you say more about it. But what did that look like? Because sometimes we leave something and we try to step onto a new path, but we still only have all the old categories.
Yep, that's exactly correct. I almost felt like compelled to like make up for my time of living in such a not great manner, to be perfectly honest with you. And I went really hardcore into religion for a time. And it was a Christian religion. It wasn't as dogmatic as Jehovah's Witness, but programming runs pretty deep. A lot of those traumas, they never left. I never addressed them. They were just kind of buried.
Yeah.
And they came back up. I saw there was just things I was hearing that I didn't like, things I didn't agree with, and a lot of being told, like, if you don't do this, don't do this. You're basically doing God wrong, and it kind of built a lot of resentment, to be honest with you, and it was a lot of unresolved things, and I had to really like kind of take a look at that because it wasn't working anymore, honestly.
Yeah. So what'd you do? So how is it? Because you're not on that path today.
I am not.
But I would tell you, just in getting to know you, you're on a very interesting and good path.
Yeah, I had to become okay with like not having all the answers, and be okay with like not believing everything that somebody was telling me. Programming runs very deep, especially in a very, very interesting religion. And I had to kind of deconstruct. You had given a sermon here not too long ago about the deconstruction of your faith, and it really hit me. I had to do that again. The first time I did it, I walked away entirely, became an atheist when things weren't working. This was a little different. I had to become willing, like deconstruct it back down so that I could build it back up into something that really worked for me and resonated for me.
And what is that today? What's it look like? And I get the kind of the tension in that question, because it's like, well, you might be right in the midst of reconstructing, and
that's for sure.
But what's it look like? Why is it good? It's
good because for the first time, like, I know I don't have to do God perfect, and there is no way to perfectly do God. I've had to just kind of be okay with not having all the answers. Like I said, that's a humility in and of itself. Yeah. And keep seeking, keep asking questions, do a ton of work, with guys like you, my old sponsor, and really practice the principles. The principles is what is the most important thing, I think, to me.
Letting go.
to the best of my ability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know for you, Russ, the third step, y'all know the third step, it says we turn our lives and our wills over to the power of God as we understand God. It's been pretty powerful for you.
Yeah, so working with you, this is the guy walking me through the steps now, has given me a new perspective. I did them once early on. My God looked way different then. So it was good for me to go back through and doing it your way. It was very simple, but it was incredibly profound. It was like a mini spiritual awakening, listing what God is to me, what God isn't to me, putting it all on paper, reading it back to you. And then you just kind of asked me, can you be okay with that? And it was like the first time ever when I was really like, I sure can.
Yeah.
And that's God I pray to now. So
God, isn't it a freeing feeling, though, when you can say,
beautiful.
I'm good with it. Like, I don't wrestle anymore with, oh my gosh, am I doing enough for God? Am I there yet? Does God love me yet? Like, no, I'm good with my relationship with God. I'm good with the spiritual path. I think it's such a freeing place to get to that.
It's incredible.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's close with this, Russ. If someone's, if they're really struggling, maybe they battle to get clean and sober, they're trying to white knuckle it, trying to do everything perfect, struggle with the God stuff. I can't tell you how many people in this community that's like the God stuff is a struggle. And it's okay. What do you say to them?
Well, I say that's okay, and that's not necessarily the worst place you can be. Keep seeking, keep looking, be okay, like not having all the answers. And if you're really struggling to stay sober, just remember, like, that's obviously a power much greater than you, so you're going to need something a little bigger than even that.
That's a good word. Thanks for being here tonight, Russ. Thanks for being a part of this community.
Oh, thank you for having
Let's hear
me,
it for
man.
Russ Carlson, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, buddy. It was, man. It was. Oh, thank you, Russ. All right, y'all. The way we close things down here on a Saturday night is very similar to how we begin. We begin with celebrations. We lift up the good, but then we close with what we call heartaches. Maybe you've been carrying burdens, and you've been trying to do it alone, the things that are weighing on you, and maybe even the temptation. I know there was with people tonight, the temptation was to isolate. Temptation was to just stay alone so you don't have to sit with people who might think differently than you. I get it. So we use this time for you to actually put voice and words to those burdens. If you need some prayer, some lifting up, some encouragement, that's what this time is for. You find out you don't have to carry it alone. It's why we have community. It's why we have a God who hears the cries of the people. If you're online, drop your burdens on the Facebook comments or YouTube comments, whichever platform you're joining us from. And if you're in-house, Cody and Colin will pass you a mic. Just raise up your hand. They'll get you a mic. Let's take 3 minutes. This time is yours.
Yeah, this is Cy. Over Labor Day weekend, my mom suffered from a stroke, and she's on the mend, hopefully for a full recovery. But if we could just get some prayers for her full recovery, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Prayers for your mom. Glad you're here, Cy.
My mom's going in for surgery on Tuesday, so I just pray that everything goes well and she comes out of it all right and is able to recover well, and everything that's going wrong right now, the reason she's getting the surgery is settled.
All right. Prayers for your mom, Jason. Thanks for sharing with us.
Hi, my name's Megan. My older brother was kind of the trailblazer for recovery in our family. And a couple days ago, he spun out pretty hard. So he's currently inpatient in Florida. And so if you guys could just hold him up.
Yeah. Lifting up your brother tonight.
test. If you could just pray for my friend Vincent. I just took him for a mental health hold. He's been going through like a psychosis for a couple months and doesn't know what to do. He's hopefully going to get into a program in a couple of days, but I just think it would be useful to lift him up in our prayers.
All
Thanks.
right. Lifting Vincent up tonight. Thanks for sharing with us.
Hi, yeah. I'd just like to see if you have a prayer for the addicts that are still suffering and a way for us to help love each other the way that the Lord loves us and everybody around us. That'd be good. All right.
Yeah. That's a good prayer, brother. Prayers for those still struggling. Anyone else?
I would just like to thank all my friends and my family and my friend John that's here with me, who's been battling cancer. And we go to a lot of meetings together, and he needs some prayers and help. And just, I'm doing well. I'm almost to a year. Had almost 3 years, and I relapsed. And, just keep my friend in your prayers. That's all I have.
Yeah. Prayers for you and them. Thank you, Colin. And, Jerome, you want to join me up here one more time? Thank you, Colin and Cody. Shall we see what our online people had to say tonight?
Courtney Cochran, I'm pregnant, separated from my children, having so much depression, and I know I need to stay sober, but please pray for me as I feel so lost and alone.
Yeah, Courtney, prayers for you, and ladies in the community, connect with Courtney. I think she's joining us from Facebook, so if you're on Facebook, shoot her a message. Let her know she's not alone. Connect with her. Glad you're here, Courtney. Brittany says, I lost my sister in July. She was found deceased in an abandoned house due to alcohol and fentanyl. Pray for my family, especially my mom. Brittany, prayers for you, your mom, the whole family during a time of some real grief. Glad you're joining us tonight.
And Carrie, it's good to see you, Carrie. A member of our community could use our prayers for their son. My heart breaks for their family.
Yeah, prayers for them, Carrie. That's John and Carrie Allison. Good to see you all earlier tonight. And prayers for that family and their son. Stephen says, please pray for all who have experienced violence and hope their families are able to find peace. Yeah, prayers for peace. Not a bad prayer right now. Thank you for that, Stephen, lifting them up. Thank you, Jerome, for being here tonight. Did you just get your hair cut? I got a month cut. Man, your feathers are looking nice. Looking very clean these days. All right, y'all. Hey, if you've been impacted by the mission here of Breaking the Silence of Addiction, if this is your home or your people or community, whatever you call us here, you should know we are, people ask all the time, how are you funded? How does this thing work? How does it happen? We're funded by you, the people. Thank you to those of you that have made giving spiritual practice in your life. You've made it actually a sacrificial practice in your life when you had none of that in your past life because it all went either up your nose or in your body or whatever y'all did with it. Now you see that actually giving changes you. And even if you don't give here, give somewhere because truly it changes you. But we are very grateful when you give here. It makes a big difference. If you want to donate to Free, there's a few different ways you can do it. You can download the app, Free Recovery Community. It's free to download. All of our content's on there. Messages, guest storytellers. There's a giving button. You can give one time or weekly, monthly, however you want to set it up. We're just grateful for any and all of it. And you can do the same thing on the website, freerecoverycommunity.com. There's a giving button there. Or there's the giving kiosk, one outside these doors, one outside these doors for those of you in person. For those of you that still do cash and checks, those things can go in there, and we're grateful for that too. And there's the really fun Kind kiosk just outside these doors. It's like the one touch system. You just tap your card. You all know Apple Pay. Fun way to give. So if that's your style, you can hit that on your way out. And truly, we're grateful for all of it. And for those of you online, some of you all have never been here, but you consider us you, and we're a community together. And thank you for giving in those ways. Oh, and let me say this. If you're, maybe you say, hey, financial giving, not my thing. I'm not able to do that. Okay, that's cool. Maybe you can jump on Google if you want to give it another way. Jump onto Google and leave a review on Free Recovery Community. Here's the deal, though. If you do that, please do make sure it's a 5-star review because they say that helps the algorithms. If it's not going to be a 5-star review, talk to Jerome first and tell him why. Then he'll convince you to make it a 5-star. How about that? All right, y'all, thank you for participating in all the ways you give of yourselves here and in this community. Shall we go out with a prayer? Yeah, I think we should. I would encourage you to just open up the hands. Nothing magical in it. It's maybe just a sign you're not going to live life clenched fist and white knuckling it. Maybe you're open to spirit, ruach, breathing life in us, through us, and all around us. And take a big, deep breath and hold it in. Now maybe it's felt heavy. You're disillusioned, disappointed. And yet you're here. You're here. Still breathing. Still in community. Yeah. Yep. If you don't know the Serenity Prayer, well, it's a simple one. It'll be on your screen. We'll pray it together, and it goes like this. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen, and grace and peace to you all. See you next time.